Thank you for this opportunity to say a few words to you too on this special day. Also as a representative of the EU, perhaps as a reasonable or grown-up man, I hope so anyway, to say that we all have to fight to ensure that our society, our Europe, our world becomes a little more female and a little better. That's my own experience. I experienced it at the UN, at the G7, within the EU, wherever leading committees and debates are based on a balanced relationship between men and women, the debate and the outcome were more reasonable. And perhaps it's no accident that in German, war is masculine and reason is feminine. I'm sure that women in leadership positions bring a lot of reason, a lot of common sense with them, and that makes our decisions fairer. Yesterday, a couple of 100 yards away from here, I was at the Russian memorial where we were celebrating the end of the Second World War, and today I'm with you celebrating Europe Day. And as we look back on history, one asks oneself whether 100 years ago we would have slid into that disaster, that fiasco of the 20th century, the First World War, had there been more women in politics, had women had the right to vote. Berta von Suttner was a Nobel Prize winner, and she rang the alarm at the time, very loud indeed, but the people in power, the men in power, didn't listen, and they simply drifted into that awful catastrophe that set the tone for the 20th century. We don't want to see that happen again. It wasn't far away from here that David Bowie composed his famous Heroes, expressing the hope that humans, people, become heroes, and that's what happened. People did become heroes, and the wall has disappeared. But many of those heroes were heroines, but they weren't as visible, they didn't get as much attention as the heroes. And Berta von Suttner also told us that female heroes, heroines, require more attention. They deserve more attention. In 1957, when the original European Economic Community was formed, it actually enshrined what you have put on your banner, equal pay for equal work. That goes back to the birth certificate of the European Union, and since then we've done a lot to improve work-life balance and to improve conditions for women, but there's still a long way to go, and the speakers before me have mentioned that. Equal pay for equal work is still a long way from being achieved. Even in Germany, somebody mentioned that, I think there's a 30% gender pay gap, which is unacceptable, that we don't even have the same pay for the same job. And certainly we need a lot more women in leadership positions in Germany and Europe. We have some strong women in the Commission in the European Union. We have Vera Jourova on Facebook and other issues, Margareta Vestager in competition, responsible for issues like social media globally, and Federica Mogherini, our High Representative, who has been negotiating an agreement, the Iran agreement, that was intended to produce more peace in the Middle East, something that the German media don't often mention. Let me say also from my experience, we need more female solidarity too if we're going to break through that glass ceiling. As long as men do not choose a woman for the list simply because she's a woman, people need to feel that it's acceptable to vote for a woman simply because she is a woman. I've experienced in Austria what happens when people are not prepared to do that. And we perhaps wouldn't be talking so much about the American withdrawal from the Iran agreement if American electors had borne that in mind. So we need a lot of female solidarity. David Bowie sang Heroes just for one day. I don't think one day, not even a day like this, even if the sun shines, is going to be enough. Bob Marley sang, stand up for your rights, don't give up the fight. Europe, ladies and reasonable gentlemen among us, will not give up. Europe will remain at your side. You stick with Europe. Thank you.